Welcome back to another lecture. Now, this lecture is possibly one of the most important lectures because we are going to be writing our first ad. Now, the first thing we need to do, as you can see here, is we need to write the ad group, okay? So, just to explain into context, the campaign is the highest level of the advert, okay? So, the campaign, let's say I am a client. I go in to see a Google AdWords expert and I say to them, right, I've got a campaign for you. I want you guys to sell my Udemy courses. That's the campaign. The campaign to them is to sell more of my Udemy courses. That means that the Google AdWords people now have to sell each of my courses using Google AdWords. And you can have a number of different ad groups within a campaign. So for ad group 1, we are going to name it Python. So that is the name of our ad group. Now, what we have to do is we have to fill out all these details, and it's going to populate all those details in this preview ad so you can see how it would look to a person browsing. Okay, so a point that I want to mention about text ads is that in December 2016, text ads changed. We now have expanded text ads. What we used to have is, we used to have here a headline, we used to have a display URL, we had 2 description boxes, which was about 30 characters each, and that was it. That was all that you had to work with. Now let me show you how this looked. This example here is what a traditional text ad used to look like. You had a small headline, you had the display URL, then you had one description line, which is this one here, and then after the full stop, you've got the second description line, which is Get Guitars Online. So as you can see, you've only got a short amount of space here, you've got a short URL here, you've also got really 2 short text fields. Now let's have a look and see what we've got now. What you see here is a much bigger headline than this. Look at that, guitars on sale, to this, shop guitars at Guitar Center, free shipping, easy returns. You've got a bigger display URL, and you've also got a much bigger description area. And then look what you've got here. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 whole words here, whereas on this example, you've got 2 whole words. So this is a great thing. Expanded text ads means you now have more real estate, more space, more property on your Google ad to make an impact. All right, so let's go back to the campaign management. So the first thing we need to do is we need to fill out the final URL. Now the final URL is not this. This is the display URL, and we can customize that here. All right, now the display URL is something that needs to look a little bit pretty when a browser is looking. Now if we just use my Python course here, so this is the Python course that I'm going to be selling. It's got 10,000 students. Go back to the campaign. The final URL is basically the offer. All right, so for me, this is the course. This will take you to this page here, which charges £195 or $195 to the consumer. All right, but we have to add a coupon code. Okay, so I'm going to add that right here. So this final URL is the destination that the consumer is going to be taken to. So if I just copy that and show you what happens when you go to this coupon code, you can see it now reduces it to £10 or $10. All right, so this is the final URL, and as you can see, it's quite ugly. Okay, so it's already pre-populated the website display with just udemy.com. We'll move on to the display URL in a little bit. Now let's come to the headline. Now the headlines are the words that appear on this top line here. And this is where we've really got to make an impact. We have got to use headlines which really grab the audience's attention. Okay, so with these 2 headline boxes, the headline number 1 is here. Then you've got a hyphen that splits it from headline 2, which is here. So you've got 30 characters per line. That's quite a lot of wiggle room. We have a lot of space to move around here, whereas the headline used to be just 25 characters. So what we want to do is we want to make sure we are getting the most amount of clicks for our ads. If you're doing this for a client, your clients are going to want highly qualified leads, highly qualified traffic, people who are most likely to buy it over others. So the headline is going to be super important in terms of being able to filter these highly qualified leads. So for my Python course, I'm looking for people who are willing to pay for the course. Now the average price of a Python course is anywhere between $60 to $200. Now, I want to give the impression of a good quality course that's inexpensive. So let's have a look and see what I can put in this first line. So I'm going to put 8-hour Python video course, $10. And that takes up the whole allowance. And that's a pretty good headline because you are learning. It's a quality course because it's 8 hours. It's a Python video course, which means you're going to get more from that than just a book will give you. And it's relatively inexpensive as well at $10. It's far below the average price of a Python course. Okay, so this makes it a very good offer. Let's move on to the second headline now. So we want to give this ad some social proof. We want people to know that if they were to take this course, they wouldn't be the only one because normally that means that it's not very good. So we want to give it some social proof, something that makes it look popular. Popular things are what grabs attention. So if we go to the Python course, you can see here, there's 10,700 students. Okay, so we will use this as part of our social proof. So I'm going to put join 10,000 plus students today. And I think it's also important to capitalize the words because it gives it much more impact. It gives it much more significance. It's much easier on the eye. So 8-hour Python video course, $10, join 10,000 plus students today. That gives it really good social proof. It's inexpensive and it's a high quality course. Now we come down to the path. So it automatically gives me udemy.com, which is where the course is hosted. So what we can do here is we can put anything we want really. This does not have to be the accurate URL. So you could put Python, you could put course here, and there we are. And the other good thing is that you have got keywords in here. So you've got Python and course. These are good keywords and it's really good on the eye because everything is kind of consistent. You've got Python video course and then Python course as the URL. So it looks really easy on the eye. It looks certainly better than this with the underscore. Okay, so now we have to come to the description. Now, what we want to do in the description is we want to really describe the benefits of this course. What is the value you are going to get from this course? And it's got to be engaging, it's got to be emotionally appealing, and it's got to make people wowed. Okay, so we've already got a good headline, so we need to continue our efforts to persuade people to take this course. So what I'm going to put here is I'm going to put become a Python programming expert, make websites and apps with this 8-hour course. Damn. I am one character over my allowance. So we could just delete the O and U. And there we are, 8-hour course. So look at that. Look at how this looks. I personally would buy this because it's giving me good benefits. Right, you can become an expert in programming with an 8-hour course and you can make websites and apps. So it's really good to tell people what do they really get from it. They become a Python programming expert, which anybody who wants to learn a language will want to get to a stage where they can actually make things. So they want to get to expert level. There may not be a point in taking an 8-hour course if you're not going to get to expert level. So by becoming a Python expert in 8 hours, that gives you a good reason to take the course, because I think any course that can make you an expert in 8 hours is really good. And then make websites and apps. Now that's ultimately what Python's really good for. It's the kind of programming language which makes it really easy to build websites and apps, and a lot of the biggest websites were built with Python. So I think this gives you a really good amount of benefits by which to make a purchasing decision.